math. I know that should be played on the bass, but we have a guitar, so we did our best to play it on the guitar instead of the bass. Okay, today we are going to do the mid-chapter checkpoint for chapter 9. Okay, fractions and decimals. So here's what I did for you today. Actually, we're going to be on Think Central. If you go to your student edition, you want to go to page 525 and 526, and that's where your mid-chapter checkpoint is. The first three were vocabulary, fill in the blanks. Number 1, a symbol used to separate the ones and the tenths place is called a blank. And your correct answer there should be decimal point. Okay, number 2, the number 0.4 is written as a blank. And the answer there is a decimal. Okay, and number 3, a blank is one of 100 equal parts of a whole. And the answer there is hundredth with the TH at the end. Okay, those were our first 3 questions, all vocabulary. Okay, the next ones I didn't draw for you, but they showed models. And number 4 shows us a square with 10 columns, and 4 of the columns are shaded in. And it says, write the fraction or mixed number of the decimal that is shown by the model. So if we have 10 columns, 4 are shaded in, we have 4 tenths, 4 over 10, or 0.4. Okay, and that was question number 4. Number 5, we have a full flat base 10 block consisting of 100 little cubes, and it's completely shaded in. We also have another flat base 10 block with only 3 of the little cubes shaded in. So as a total here, we have 1 whole and then 3 hundredths. Okay, because the second one, there's only 3 out of 100 shaded in. So we would write that as a mixed number, which would be 1 and 3 over 100. So your whole number 1, and then the fraction 3 over 100. 1 and 3 hundredths. Or you could write it as a decimal, which would be 1.03. 1.03, which is also pronounced as 1 and 3 hundredths. Okay, the next few, we have 6 through 8. It says write the decimal as hundredths in fraction form and in decimal form. Okay, so they give you a fraction. They give us the fraction 8 tenths, 8 over 10. They want us to write that as hundredths in fraction form and then decimal form. First thing we have to do, we have to take our 8 tenths and we have to turn that into an equivalent fraction with 100 as your denominator. So if you have 8 over 10 equals blank over 100. Look at your denominator. To go from 10 to 100, we have to multiply 10 times 10. So your denominator would be 10 times 10, which gives us 100. You have to do the same thing to the numerator now. Our numerator was 8. Do 8 times 10. That would now give us 80 over 100. Or as a decimal point, 0.80. I have it written on the board behind me. I'm going to show you that when I'm done giving you the answer so you can look at them and actually see them. Okay, number 7, we have 0.5. Now you should realize that that is really 5 tenths. So as a fraction, you could write that as 5 over 10. But now we want to make it into hundredths. So once again, we would have 5 over 10 equals blank over 100. To make your denominator of 10 into 100, we had to multiply by 10. Do the same thing to the 5, which is your numerator, which would give you 50. Your fraction would be 50 over 100. Your decimal point would be 0.50. 0.50. Okay? Number 8 has the fraction 6 tenths, 6 over 10. To make that into hundredths, we have to take our 10, multiply it by 10 to give us 100 as a denominator. Do the same thing to the numerator, which is 6. 6 times 10, 60. So you would have 60 over 100. or 0.60. Okay? Now, 9 through 11, it says write the fraction or mixed number as a money amount and as a decimal in terms of dollars. Okay, so we have 65 over 100. As money, I always told you, think of 100 as a dollar, and you have 65 parts of that dollar. 65 over 100, which is the same as 65 cents. So you would have money sign 0.65, that's your money number, and then your decimal would just be 0.65, no money sign. Now the next one, number 10, is 1 and 48 over 100, which is 1 and 48 hundredths. How do we write that as money? Dollar sign. 1 tells us we have one whole dollar, and then we have the decimal point, and the 48 tells us it's 48 cents. So it would be dollar sign 1.48, and then as a as a decimal, you would just write it as 1.48, which is 1 and 48 hundredths. Number 11, we have 4 over 100, 4 hundredths. To write that as money, it would be dollar sign 0. Here's where it gets a little tricky. 0.4. We only have 4 out of 100, so it would be 0.04 with the dollar sign, which means 4 cents. And then finally, we would have 0.04, which is 4 hundredths. Okay, I'm going to show you those on the board quickly so you can get an idea of what they should look like. There's our board. Let me get it right for you. All right. There we have number 6, number 7, number 8, 9, 10, and 11. As you see, I've written them all out there for you. If you want, you can pause it right now to check your answers, make sure they're correct. But that's what they should look like as numbers, written numbers. Okay, now we're going to go on to the word problems. Okay, number 12 says, Ken's turtle competed in a 50 hundredths meter race. His turtle traveled 49 over 100, or 49 hundredths, when the winning turtle crossed the finish line. What is 49 over 100 written as a decimal? Well, say it. It's 49 hundredths. So as a decimal, it would be 0. There's no whole numbers. 0.49. 0.49. That's the answer to number 12. Okay, number 13. Alex lives 8/10 of a mile from Sarah. What is 8/10 written as a decimal? Okay, think of your place value chart. No ones, so it's 0. Then a decimal point. 8/10 means put an 8 right after the decimal. So it would be 0.8. That's how you write 8/10 as a decimal using a place value. Okay, number 14. What fraction and decimal in hundredths is equivalent to 7/10? Just like we did before. 7/10 equals blank over 100. Look at the denominator. To go from 10 to 100, we have to multiply by 10. So 10 times 10 gives us 100. Do the same thing to the numerator, which is 7. 7 times 10 gives us 70. So it would be 70 over